Elder Venator Fang. There we go, KC-143. Let me get out of here. What's going on, everybody? Blood Moon Rises, the quest, was just released, and we did do the quest on the day of release. We got that done, and we have a video up on the channel if you're interested in following along the quest. But with the quest completed, we have now unlocked the Vampirium region area. Actually, where exactly is Vampirium? I don't really know. Someone that knows the lore can fill me in on that. But point is, we're going to be dabbling into Vampirium and what that place has to offer. Namely, the Maggot King. The Maggot King, as we know, gives the best in-slot range amulet upgrade. So we're definitely going to want that. As well as a new spec weapon that I'm not all too familiar with. I think it is a crush spec weapon. So that could be pretty cool. Now, right now, we're on the beginnings of day 2 of the Blood Moon Rises release, and people have been farming up the boss quite a bit. So in watching some guides, some videos, I do have a very vague understanding of the boss. So we're not going into it completely blind, but I'm sure we're still going to struggle. Let's go over the inventory setup real quick and the gear. We're currently in full Inquisitors with Scythe. That's going to be on Crush. We might opt to swap this out for the Inquisitor's Mace. I see some people using the Mace as well. And we are using the Harmonized Nightmare Staff with Full Mage with the Tome of Fire, casting Fire Surge. We can also opt to switch to the Tumican Shadow. I think I've seen people using either of those two. And then we have Elder Maw as a spec weapon. And then the rest of the inventory is just food and prayer, and it does poison, so we have an extended anti-venom. Well, since we were geared up, it's a good time to de-gear, because the first thing we have to do before we actually fight the boss, just to improve our quality of life, is to teleport to Castle Draken with the Dragon's Medallion, enter the portal into Vampirium, and we have some supplies in our inventory. 2 copper nickel bars, hammer and saw, the magic stone, 2 adamant bars, and 4 ironwood planks. And we're going to be building this chest right here. You can see that there's actually a couple of people using it right as we speak. So we have that built now, and we're almost ready. We're going to do one more thing, and conveniently, since we just built this chest, we do need to gear back up for a little bit here, but not for the boss. So since I'm here for the first time, we built out that bank chest, and we're also going to head east from there. We're going to cross over this bridge, and I do believe the boss is going to be located around here. Now, it is a bit of a run, especially from that bank chest. There is a shortcut here, all through the bush, and then, yep, right there, you can see a couple of people here. There's a scoreboard right here. This is where the boss is going to be. So the run to the boss is a bit of a trip, and we can shorten it slightly by continuing down this path. And I'm hoping I'm heading the right way here, but we're going to run deeper and deeper into this forest, and there's an NPC here that we're going to help. Yep, there it is. We're going to clear these flies from this arena here. Is that how you pronounce it? Honestly, no idea. But we essentially saved this guy. He says thank you. We go through some dialogue. He disappears, and where he actually went is back here where we started, next to Castle Draken in Sangvesti. That's our bank chest that we just built, and slightly to the south, he is just chilling right here. We can right-click, follow, or even left-click, follow, and he takes us here, right across the bridge, and then the boss is just over there. So it does shorten the run a good bit. All right, now that we have that set up, let's gear up for the actual fight. We've geared back up, and in we go. As far as I know, I don't have to do anything else. Yep, here we are in the boss encounter already. And we're already poisoned. Autocast is not on. We're off to a bad start. Oh, I gotta turn off my prayer for that? Okay, yep. Yeah, it's one thing to watch somebody else do it, especially like No Monkey, for example. And then it's another thing for me to jump into it for the first time. So, yeah, here we are currently. Let's make sure we get rid of the poison. So game sounds feel a little loud right now. Disable my prayer. We're probably going to have to TP out, but it's good to just get that first experience. Okay, we want to head to the corners right here so we don't rag too many tiles. Disable. Okay, I got to be quicker on that. I'm very slow. I don't know why I brought so many prayer potions, by the way. Okay, the larvae spawn. Apparently we can choose to ignore them. Now, is that the best course of action for me right now? Not exactly sure. Disable prayer, and then range pray. It alternates between range and melee. Now, if we can even make it far enough, there is going to be a melee phase, but we are off to a bad start, honestly. Oh, that's the melee. The melee in which you can dodge. Now, I know there's some kind of mechanic in which you can hit twice back to back. How do you do that? I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna be real surprised if I can even secure the KC here. I might greed for it, potentially. I don't have my tome on. Not sure how long that's been happening. Okay, this might be a TP angle. Yeah, let's just TP. Wait, I can't TP? Oh, it reset the Dragon's Medallion. Oh, that could have been bad. And in we go. Let's try this again. I suppose we don't have to be in the corners, but we just have to manage the acid carefully. DPS is looking pretty good. Apparently fire spells are really good because of there's a burn effect. You can see it stacking up right now, actually. Things are going pretty well right now. Something is healing the boss. Is it the maggots? Maybe it's the maggots. Okay, let's not worry about the double hit. Like, I've seen people do double hits. Let's just keep things very, very simple. There. Okay, I'm gonna TP. I'm gonna TP. But yeah, we're gonna keep things very simple. I'm overcomplicating it already without getting a good grasp of the basics right now. I suppose the good news is we haven't died yet, but third time's the charm, right? In terms of getting the KC, not dying, that is. We're very close, but I'm out of food. I may go down here, especially if I don't pray. Okay, I prayed the wrong thing. Does it not alternate between range and mage? I'm sure it does, and I just lost track of that in all that chaos. Oh, it's just perma melee. No! Okay, the last certain percentage of the fight is just perma melee, but you do have to turn off overheads, I think. Alright, that last attempt was probably our closest to our first KC, and I got baited by a mechanic that isn't even in effect during the enrage phase, if you will. The screech in which you have to turn off your overheads, that's not even applicable in the enrage phase. And when I say enrage phase, it's like the last 250 health. I don't know if we can coin it in enrage phase, but it's certainly a melee only phase towards the end. Guarantee myself right here, right now, next attempt is the one, and then it's smooth sailing from there. Here we go. I am guaranteeing a KC right here. I know exactly what to do. Okay, maybe not exactly, but enough to get my first KC. Here we go. Disable pray? Yes, we didn't even take a tick of damage there. Pray mage. Disable pray. Pray range. We're doing so much damage right now. Melee will happen at some point. Disable pray. Here we go. I greeted. Okay, I can see why some people are using an Inquisitor's Mace. It just fits the cycle better. Let's pray mage. Let's safe up here, and then try not to make too many mistakes from this point on. We know what's going on. I don't understand how to get the double hit in, but we'll worry about that later. Those larvae are very annoying. Okay, I just attacked twice right there. Just did it again. And there we go, our first KC. I guaranteed it. I'm leaving this in the video uncut. 303, definitely very slow. Take eggs or open stomach. I feel like the eggs is a pet thing, kind of like at a Raxor when you sacrifice loot. That's my guess. I actually have no idea. I'm just gonna open the stomach, and we get a tarnished halberd. We're gonna polish it, and we get a rune halberd. Okay, let's TP out. We're definitely not ready for a second KC. Let's see if we can continue that success now. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna try use the Inquisitor's Mace. Okay, I think I understand how to get 2 hits now. If your hit is as it extends out and lunges at you, then you can get a second hit whenever it tracks. But if you're too slow on that, then you just don't get that extra hit. And second KC, that was probably slower though. We're out of food again though, which is not great. Oh, much slower. 4:15? A whole minute slower? More? What do we get? Not sure what these feathers are for. Oh, no! It took me so long to realize that the loot was on the ground there, because there's no value to it. Okay, does it not? Okay, it never centers the attack on you. Yeah, I keep misclicking on them too. Alright, that is another KC. A 308, slightly slower. Alright, we're gonna loot mithril ore. We're TPing out. We're not dying like that again. Now, this could be a fast KC if we don't goof. How did I fall out of the double hit cycle there? Alright, we use no food. We use no food. A 233. Runite ore. Hey, let's stick around for another KC. Why not? Alright, we did a 2 KC trip though, although the second one used all my food, while the first one used no food. Another quick KC though. Okay, I have no idea what any of those are, but I'm not making the mistake of looking at it while I'm in here. Dull ancient medallion. It falls apart. Ron Stimfike? Stimfike. Tartar. No idea. 6 KC. We're getting sub 3-minute KCs now. Leech fin. I think these are for the blood vials or something. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add the Mage's Ring into my setup here. Before I was just camping the Ultor Ring. Should be no issue, and potentially some extra magic damage. I was just saying we're getting the hang of it. 10 KC, 219 PB. I think we beat our previous by like a whole 20 seconds. Another new PB, we are smashing it now, a 151. Another thing in which I have no clue what it is, Letvik. Let him what? Okay. Tarnished ring. We get a topaz ring. No way. Venator Fang, is that it? I think that's it, right? That's the upgrade? Is that it? Wait, no. No, I got baited. This is useful for... What is this for? Dragon arrows? Alright, can confirm the Venator Fangs are for dragon arrows. What we are looking for is the Elder Venator Fang. That is going to be the Necklace of Anguish upgrade. Okay, I figured this out a little while ago, but this is the first time I'm actually using it. So these things, these Stimfike Tartar, or however you pronounce them, I was wondering what they were for earlier, and that's because I was only checking them when I teleported out. That's because you can't use them outside of this room. This is actually food and prayer restoration, but only usable while you're still in here. With it being so early in the release right now, quite literally on day 2, there's no confirmed drop rates just yet, but there is player pooled data, and supposedly the spec weapon, the Crimson Kiston, is supposedly a 1 in 500, whereas the Elder Venator Fang is about a 1 in 333. Curious to see how accurate that's going to be when there's more data. I don't know how many items are on the drop table, but I feel like half the time I'm just going, what is that? Some gravel. I think with this loot, oh my god, this is 3 KCs in a row where we get a supply drop, so this is a very lengthy trip right now. Well, we finally didn't get a supply drop, but I got baited by the Venator Fangs again. 43 KC and leech pins. We actually haven't seen any of these in a while. Just takes up your entire inventory. We have made it all the way to KC 50. Unfortunately, no uniques yet. So planking aside, because that is an obvious factor in your KC an hour, it is actually lower than I thought. Because the KCs themselves are pretty quick. You're doing like 2 to 3 minute KCs, sometimes even faster than 2 minutes. But the trip to get there is pretty long, even with the shortcut. So, you know, my opinion, my 2 cents is that if they're concerned about KCs an hour at a boss, they should just lengthen the fight to a certain extent. Obviously, too long of a fight isn't good, but just shorten the trip to the boss instead, because having a long run to the boss is not it, in my opinion. A 143. Beat my previous PB by 8 seconds. Another new PB, 140. I think by only like a couple of seconds though. KC 100. Can we get some good luck on KC 100? And we get a supply drop, which is actually like really common. I think it's like 1 in 4 or something like that. I think this is my 2nd or 3rd Venator Fang roll, and I got baited. Again, just started another trip and we're out of air runes in our rune pouch. It's tragic. Alright, so we just found this out. If you ever plank at the boss, which is definitely not me, I totally planked on purpose here for purposes of this clip right here. But apparently you can just talk to the scout right here, and let's see if it costs anything more than usual. Do I want... It doesn't tell me how much it costs. I'm scared. Please tell me there's a prompt. Oh, I will accept either a vial of blood, 150 feathers, or 50,000 coins? I mean, yeah. Sure, why not? Wait, oh, but I need to have the coins on me. Okay. Okay, he doesn't pull it from my bank. But that's good to know. We are currently working on KC 131, so we're chipping away. I'm still not sure what the KC an hour is, probably less than 30s. We've made some small adjustment to our setups. I don't know if I showcased it earlier, but I was using the IAC as a spec. Now a lot of other people have been using the Thamron Scepter, which I don't have unfortunately. I think without that, the Elder Maw is probably a very good spec weapon for the melee portion. Either way though, you do an insane amount of damage here. As I'm too busy talking and I was maging during the melee phase. Alright, with our Wrath runes and seared pages running a little bit low, let's try out the Tumican Shadow. The biggest thing is that there's no burn effect, and I think the burn effect does really stack up the damage. With the previous setup with the Harmonized Staff Tome of Fire using Fire Surge, paired with the same exact melee setup we're using, I'd say we were averaging about 215 per KC. So let's do a couple of these and then see what kind of times we get. So the Shadow is definitely a downgrade compared to our previous setup with the Harmonized Orb, Tome of Fire, and Seared Pages Fire Surging. We just got a 247. We did get like a 227 earlier, but we also had a really slow 3-minute plus, in which we haven't really seen any of those recently, now that we're a little bit more comfortable with the boss. So yeah, it does feel kind of bad, but we don't have to worry about pages. I do have some left over, so I think after this I'm going to switch back until I'm completely out of supplies for that setup. Elder Venator Fang, there we go, KC-143. Let me get out of here before I stare at the loot and die to the respawn. We spooned it. We spooned it. Where's the collection log? Maggot King. That is actually the first collection log on this boss. We did get Venator Fang, the regular ones, but I guess they're just in some other category. So all we need now is the Crimson Kisten and the pet. All right, I have no idea how to use this Venator Fang to upgrade my Anguish. We're gonna have to figure that out. So I'm learning that there is the Elder Venator Fang as is. Excuse me, beekeeper, I'm busy here. And then you can also use a chisel on it to make it the etched version, which is tradable. Now my question is, can I just use the Necklace of Anguish and the Elder Venator Fang together? No, regardless of whether you're trying to sell this or not, you do need to etch it first. So there we go. Etched Elder Venator Fang. Use it on the Necklace of Anguish. Do you wish to create a Necklace of Rupture using an etched Elder Venator Fang and a Necklace of Anguish? This process is non-reversible and will consume both items, just like the Amulet of Rancor. But let's see if there's an animation. There we have it. I think it's very similar to the Rancor animation. All right, let's put that bad boy on. Let's equip our best in slot range here as we do. Although Venator Ring is kind of dead content. So is the Missouri Mask. But this is max range. This is max range. With the Necklace of Rupture, or is it Amulet? No, Necklace. Necklace of Rupture. We do have best in slot range once again, but we do need to get the Seeker Dragon Arrows, or just Seeker Arrows in general. We're trying to figure that out right now. We're going to be chopping bloodwood trees and getting the sap from them. If I can figure out, you need to pull your axe further back. So this is an interesting new way to chop trees. So we click on the tree, and then we click on ourselves to pull the axe back. Click again until this bar fills up, and then we click on the tree. Rinse and repeat. So step number one is you do this chopping motion here. You click on yourself, make sure to fill up this yellow bar, and then you can then chop. Once the red bar fills up, it turns into like this, where you tap it on occasion. You get a pretty big EXP drop, 510, and you wait for that red bar to deplete. So with that, you can actually do multiple trees at once. This woodcutting method has to be one of the best EXP in the game, and it's really satisfying because it feels like they put tick manipulation in the game without it feeling weird. Because if you really think about it, using a teak log and a knife, or like your Guam and tar combination or whatever it might be, is kind of janky. It doesn't make any sense. But something like this makes skilling fun, more interactive, a lot of potential. So I know I spent all my time at the boss. I didn't know anything about this, but this is really cool as well. And the EXP is really, really good. Probably one of the best trading methods in the game. So I'm going to get an inventory full of buckets of sap here, and then we're going to figure out how to make those arrows. Now we have an inventory full of buckets of sap. I actually don't know if I need the knife or not. And the pickaxe, well, we only used the pickaxe because we needed to unlock a shortcut. If we look on the map as we step into Vampirium, if we look on the map, where we were just at is over here, the Absol hunting grounds and the rare trees right here. There's a shortcut right here. We are at Castle Draken. So if you take this shortcut, it's actually pretty quick to get here. But you do need to run all the way around first, and then mine some rubble on the other side of this agility shortcut, and then you unlock it. So yeah, that's what we needed the pickaxe for. Actually don't know if we need the knife. Anyways, with an inventory full of bucket of sap, we're going to then take out some redwood logs. Now use the highest tier available log you have, but the higher tier, the more value you're going to get out of it. I believe we just used the bucket and the log together, There we go. We have sap-treated redwood logs. Now, I think we do need the knife for this section. We're going to then use our knife, and we make seeking arrow shafts, 105 of them. And let's see, I do believe I have some dragon arrow tips in my bank. Combine them together, or actually, what's the next step? Oh, wait, feathers, duh. We play this game, haha. So we make seeking headless arrows, and then we put the dragon arrow tips onto it. There we have them, seeking dragon arrows. Now let's go ahead and bring our best in slot range back out again. Oh, we need to get rid of this necklace of anguish placeholder. Move this necklace of rupture up there. And then in our quiver, let's go ahead and put those bad boys in. There we go. This is best in slot range gear. Of course, we are not done with the Maggot King, but getting the Elder Venator Fang, which has greater use, greater value right now as best in slot amulet. The Crimson Kiston, we're still not exactly sure where it's good at. Probably the boss itself, and maybe Fasani's Nightmare. If I do get my hands on this, it's actually very, very good for me right now, as I still don't have that Void Waker. So, with that being said, I'm going to get back to farming more Maggot King. And then we'll also try to dabble into some other pieces of content that Vampirium has to offer.